with authority.
Welcome, everybody, to another quarantine, almost out of quarantine edition of our With Authority podcast. Larry Beal, Casey Pratt, Chris Alvarez, joined today by arguably the best linebacker in football, Fred Warner of the 49ers. I say arguably, but it's not much of an argument because should you argue, Fred will pick you up and throw you down on your head. So, Fred, is that correct, Fred?
Yeah, that's correct, man. Thanks. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. Thanks.
It's a good thing we're on Zoom then, I would say.
Yeah.
So I assume you saw Coach Shanahan's press conference prior to the draft where he suggested we may not be alive on Sunday. How is your health? Are you confident that a few days from now you'll be able to watch the draft and survive?
Yeah, my health is great. You know, I did catch that one liner right there that he mentioned, and you know, like he was right. You never know what's gonna happen. So I guess that's the mindset going into it.
Did you see Kittle's tweet following that?
He said he was gonna let him know. I was on that. Yeah, maybe I'll shoot him a text too just to let him know.
Group text. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Yeah.
If the entire roster, everybody tweeted on Sunday to Coach, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive.
I'm sure that'd be funny.
Yeah. Since we're doing this pre-draft, have you taken the time to look at any tape of any of the quarterbacks that might be 49ers a few days from now?
No, I have not. You know, I wish I could say I have, but I've been focused on just training hard. I know it's a very talented class. That's what I for sure know. I mean, I'm familiar with the one coming out of my alma mater just because, you know, he's played with my younger brother. But other than that, I'm just as I don't know much about it, just as like an average fan would, I'm sure.
That was a good answer. Somewhat evasive, but a good answer. Even because I have no way of knowing whether you've looked or not. But I like Zach Wilson also, though. Casey, you're up.
Yeah, so I know of one person whose film you studied extensively. That'd be Troy Warner, your brother. So, you know, when you talked to him ahead of the draft, I know you're personally invested in that. He actually switched schools to play with you at BYU. So how crazy would it be if he ended up a 49er just like you?
Oh, it'd be crazy. You know, it'd be a dream come true to say the least. Because I mean, just the fact that he's even in this position, to make it to the league and have a role in us both being in the NFL. That's just a dream in itself, and I know our parents are really proud. He's got a lot of talent in him. Like you said, I've studied his tape from afar and being his older brother, giving him tips and things like that. But he's such a playmaker and explosive athlete. Wherever he ends up, I know he's going to be successful.
Yeah, 2018, you were a third-round pick, 70th overall by the Niners. That's probably one of the best picks that Shanahan and Lynch have made. So are you seeing something similar where he may be a little undervalued? What are you trying to do to hype him up a little bit? Are you dropping little hints for Lynch and Shanahan?
Yeah. Of course they're going to do their due diligence in the entire process. So it doesn't hurt for me to be like, hey, so you see my little bro, Troy Warner. But, I just tell Troy it doesn't matter where he goes in the draft or, how it ends up. I just tell him what really matters is when you're selected, you're going to go and what you do afterwards. That's what really matters. And so, just really excited for him.
Fred, what was the draft process for you? I actually went back and looked at your presser when you first got here. You talked about the Wonderlic scoring high. What is the Wonderlic, and what was maybe the weirdest question you got? I mean, I know what the Wonderlic is, but what's the weirdest question you either got on the Wonderlic or those in-person interviews? You talk about just crazy things they ask you.
The Wonderlic, looking back in that interview, I was just like really just starstruck about everything in the moment. I was kind of just spewing things out as they came. The Wonderlic, at the end of the day, it's not the end all be all in terms of like your success in the NFL, right? You can score high or low. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a smart football player or not. It's just, some guys just test better than others, I guess. But in terms of people asking me different questions throughout the draft, like, there was some oddballs thrown at me like left and right during the whole combine and individual interviews with different coaches and staff members. So it's just like a whirlwind that entire experience. And then finally, make it onto a team, it's like, oh, okay, I can just finally just focus on football and becoming a better player. So, you know, but it only happens once, so you got to enjoy it.
And, you know, you guys have obviously had a great offseason signing some of your guys back. I want to know about the Kyle FaceTime. Have you got a Kyle FaceTime before, or what's that like? Everybody talks about the Kyle FaceTimes.
Kyle, oh, I haven't had a Kyle FaceTime, so maybe I'm waiting on that one. But you know, I'm just really excited, like you said, that we got the guys back that we did. You know, that was the number one goal heading into free agency. I think was to keep the core guys, you know, part of the team as much as we could. You can't always keep everyone, you know, it's just part of the deal. But we kept a lot of guys. You know, I'm excited about the team and our roster. I know it's gonna only get better after the draft.
Since we're focusing a lot on pre-draft stuff, you're obviously regarded as one of the best in the game, but I'm looking at your combine numbers. You were 13th among all linebackers in the 40-yard dash. You were 8th in the bench press. You were 9th in the short shuttle and 6th in the 3-cone drill. What does this say about the value of the combine, since your tape is off the charts, or was?
Well, you got to, you know, the combine is what it is. It's, you know, you're taking you through drills in a t-shirt and shorts. You know, I was happy with my combine performance, but at the end of the day, they're going to match those combine numbers with your film. If anything, they're going to value that film, you know, 10 times more than what you're doing in the drills. But it's just good when both things kind of match up and they're okay. That makes sense, because when I saw him on this play and I see the explosion that, you know, it's translating to him doing, you know, making those jumps in the drills and whatnot. So every little bit of it matters when you're going through a pre-draft process.
But it seems like your performance is better than those numbers would indicate. When you were done with that, did you go, oh man, that could have gone a lot better?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, that's just how it goes. There's so much nerves and the different aspects that go into it. And I came out with a good class too. You know, I'm not going to downplay anybody else's numbers, because I came out with some great athletes, you know, and they did really well. But like I said, like sometimes those drills don't automatically translate to good football and being successful at the next level. So, you know, it's what you do after, you know, just continuing to get better.
Sure.
Now, what is it like to fast forward then 2020, 2021, and you hear someone like Aaron Rodgers, of all people, that says you're the best and everybody knows it. The respect from your peers that you got this year, you know, the All-Pro, the Pro Bowl, everything. I mean, what is that like for you to kind of realize that you've done it, you've made it, and now you're on this major stage?
I mean, it meant the world, especially getting it from my peers and guys who I've looked up to, you know, before even entering the league. You know, guys like Aaron Rodgers, who's played at the top of this league for a long time now, and obviously he won MVP, and so his opinion meant a lot. And that was my entire goal. What, you know, coming into the league was to get that respect from my peers, and now, you know, achieving that level of recognition. Now my whole goal is just to become the best version of myself, you know, and continue to grow as a player, because you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You know, and I like to, you know, always refer to, you know, different quotes that I've seen from people of success. And it was funny because I was watching The Last Dance, the little MJ series on Netflix, and Phil Jackson gave this quote, and it said, I'm probably going to butcher a little bit, but it says something about you're only successful as the last successful act that you've made. And so that just means that you have to continue to work and continue to be successful, because you're not successful unless you're doing a successful act in that moment. So that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Yeah, I mean, the game does have a way of humbling you. You get the highs from going to Miami, the way the game ended. COVID hits, world shuts down, finally get the season going. Lots of injuries out of the gate for the Niners, but you had the best single season you've had in your career. So, I mean, how do you manage that crazy roller coaster going through this?
You know, you just got to keep an even head and remain humble in all facets of life. Because I mean, like you mentioned, this last season was kind of a nightmare, just because of the way it went as a team and as a country and world. But at the same time, I did try to control what I could control in my situation, you know, and becoming a better player in my third year. And I'm just going to continue to try and make those steps to help my team, because at the end of the day, we're all in it together and for one collective goal, which is obviously to get that, that Super Bowl. So, and I think we have all the right pieces. We just got to work.
Fred, I went back. I was going through the press release and your file on the 49ers website. It says you went to BYU because, or partially, a fan or a family friend sent tape to BYU. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. I had a family friend who we went to the same church, and he was a huge BYU fan. Kind of, saw me grow up coming out of high school, and noticed that I was a pretty decent football player. And he's like, okay, let me get your tape so I can send it to them, because he had some connections within the team, and that's kind of how I got my name into there and started that process with BYU. And they were one of the first teams to offer me after, I think, New Mexico State, and took a visit with that family friend shortly after, and then committed right away. So, yeah.
Can you take me back, speaking about the draft, your draft day, where you were at, what it was like? I mean, I watched Nate Clements, I believe, introduce you, your pick 7 in the Niners. Kind of take me through the emotions, who you're around, and that special moment of making it to the league.
Yeah, it was special. It's something I'll always remember for sure. I was at my dad's house with all my close family members and friends. And, I'm sitting on that couch all throughout the beginning of that second day, because, I kind of had an idea I was going to go somewhere in the third round, and there have been talks that I might go second round, but, I always try and just be, just keep it realistic, and just keep my expectations low, so you don't get let down. But, everybody's kind of standing around waiting, like, when he's going to go, like, when's the phone going to ring? And, all the anticipation, it built up into that moment where I got the phone call from the Niners, and it was just pure joy and excitement, and just a long time coming, because that's growing up, that's the dream. And to be where I'm at now, I mean, it feels like it's just flown by since then.
So to go back to the previous question about the family member sending the tape to BYU, if there was a family member that or a friend that sent a tape to Hawaii, you could have ended up at the University of Hawaii. Is that true?
Oh man, yeah. And they probably would have had a good shot at me too, because like we were talking about, Hawaii is hard to beat. You're in Hawaii, the campus. Like, I mean, you can't. It's hard to beat just being in Hawaii. But you guys, I never got an offer, so I can't. Come on, you got to get on the phone with some of those guys and tell them, what did you do?
I'm going to talk to Fresno State too.
Yeah.
Talk to Fresno, talk to Hawaii, and get them on the phone and be like, you guys messed up. Right? and then just hang up the phone. That's it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Fred, you do not know how many times I have made that call, actually, afterwards. But, oh, man. So you're growing up in Southern California, right? BYU is not a likely destination for a lot of kids, because did you aspire to go, I want to go to USC, or I want to go to UCLA, I want to be in a Pac-12 school, or what were you thinking at that point?
Yeah, all growing up, I was a huge Trojans fan. USC was a big time school, and not a lot of San Diego kids had the opportunity to even get recruited to an LA school like that. But it was a dream, but I didn't really start getting recruited heavily by the Pac-12 schools or bigger name schools like those until like later on in my draft process. So BYU was one of the first teams to actually recognize my abilities and have that commitment in me and say, we want to extend you an offer or a scholarship offer. And me, after discussing it with my mom, she was very heavily, she heavily influenced my decision, just because, that's the person who raised me and the one who, I had my full trust in. So we made the decision together. I was committed to BYU. And once I was committed, I was committed. Like, I mean, I took a couple other official visits, but, I held my commitment, unlike, how nowadays guys just kind of, flip and flop a lot. But, I held it down.
Yeah. Was the church and your faith a big part of that?
Yeah, it was. That was part of it as well. And I think when I visited the campus, I also wanted to play somewhere where I felt like they were going to play big time football. And we played against top tier teams all throughout my college career, and I was able to showcase my abilities and play against top competition, as well as get a great education. So I mean, I feel like I got the full package.
Yeah, like Hawaii, you played, right?
Yeah. There you go.
What are you laughing about?
There you go. Nothing. It's just
I know.
all love.
Speaking of switching teams and things, I mean, you guys are going to have Robert Saleh now. He's head coach of the Jets. Great opportunity for him. Obviously, Sherm. So what kind of leadership role are you taking on here? Are you thinking about that, or is it just a lead by example type of scenario for you?
Well, yeah, I think, just as I progress in my career, especially with this team, I've continued to try and take a larger role as a leader for this team. And it's not a matter of me kind of trying to be a rah guy or kind of step out of, being myself. I just do things the right way day in and day out, and guys just feed off of that, and I do when I feel like I need to speak up or, I have, I feel like so that's just part of it. Like, that's just when you are someone that everybody's looking to, sometimes you gotta have to be the one to speak up and say something. So, there's a lot to leadership, and, a lot of it is service and trying to just serve my teammates any way I can, and just continuing to grow as a player and do everything the right way.
What do you expect to see difference-wise from, D'Amico Ryans, who was there before, and in replacing Robert Saleh?
What do I expect to see in him as a defense coordinator?
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be the exact same person he was as he was as a linebacker coach for me and the rest of the linebackers. He's young. He's got that energy. He's still got that passion, that fire that he had back when he played the game. We're going to run a similar style of defense. I can't go through the whole X's and O's of it, but, I think he'll keep it pretty basic and similar to what we've been doing. And I know he wants us to be fast and physical and violent as we always have been.
Fred, last year, I know after the Super Bowl, I think it was George that labeled it the legendary revenge tour. It didn't turn out the way he wanted, but getting to the Super Bowl and being so close, what it's like, what it takes to get there. What's the motivation like for you guys, and how much does that even give you more of a burning desire to get back there and win the ultimate game?
Yeah, sure. I think the motivation every year is to make it to, is to win the thing, right? Every year, if you're not having that mindset that you're going to win the Super Bowl, then you're doing something wrong, as an entire organization. So that's always our main goal and motivation going into the year. And yes, the fact that we've been there extremely recently, in the past 2 years and didn't make it, that is added, fuel to the fire, I'd say. But every year is a new year. Even going into last year, 2020 was its own year when we were starting that season off. We couldn't dwell on what had happened the year before. You got to start. You don't start back the following year at the Super Bowl. You start back in training camp and then preseason and then game 1, 2, 3, and there's a whole process to it. And you got to focus in the moment at every single phase of it, and hopefully you put the work in and you do a good enough job to make it there and have a chance at it. So I think that's the mindset going into it now, is just really dialing in. To your technique and putting the work in, especially right now during this little phase of off-season programming. And so we can set ourselves up for success heading into training camp.
One of the fun things for me last year, 2019, I was able to be around you guys, the energy, the fans are there, the defensive chemistry you guys had. We haven't had a chance to see Nick Bosa. If you talked to Nick Bosa, wondering kind of how he is, if you had a chance to talk to him, and just your overall thoughts on getting back this year with fans and that energy, because you guys really fed off of it in 2019.
Yeah, I have talked to Nick. We talk often, and he sent me videos of him training, and he looks great, especially for as early as it is. I know he's posted some videos on social media of his workouts, and he's just a monster. So the fact that he's making this progress, I'm not surprised at all. Just the way he works and just his physical makeup. So extremely excited to have him back, and extremely excited to have the fans back as well. For me, that was a huge part of that is and always will be a huge part of the game. And so last year not having them, it sucked. It did. And so having them back, it just adds so much more fun and passion and fire to the game on game days for sure.
What lesson did you learn going from the Super Bowl to a season in which you're just scuffling and guys are getting hurt and you're just, trying to get to 500 basically, instead of being where you thought you probably should be at the top of the division, at least before the season started?
Well, I can say individually, I learned a lot, especially because we were just talking about leadership, right? And this past season was my first year elected as a team captain. And it's always easy to lead when things are going right. When you're winning, you just sit back and you enjoy, all the success that's going on. But when you're going through the fire, you're going through the hard times, and people are looking to you, and that's when you really learn the most about yourself. You learn the most about your team, your teammates. And I think we grew stronger, and we grew closer because of what we went through. Of course, you never want to go through a season like that just to try and gain some experience or knowledge, but you got to take the positive from it. And so I think we're just ready. We're hungry to get back after it and get to it. So I think that's about it.
I'm going to circle back to where we started, which was the draft's upcoming. There's a lot of talk about the 49ers perhaps taking Mac Jones out of Alabama. He's not the most mobile guy, and mobile quarterbacks have given you guys the most trouble. Russell Wilson, obviously Mahomes. I'm still traumatized by that 3rd and long play. I don't know how often you think of that. You probably don't want to think of it, but
yeah.
Do you think of it?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really. It's done and over with now. I can't do anything about it. So,
So how much more stress does one of those players, there's a bunch of Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. How much more stress does that put on you and your defense where, you can play great assignment football and be exactly where you should be, and then suddenly, the guy runs around and makes some crazy play?
Well, yeah, there's special players all over this league that play that position. I mean, it's a hard position to play. I couldn't imagine, it's a lot of pressure put on those guys. And like you mentioned, the ones like Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray's that you have to chase around, it just kind of adds that extra aspect of, you might have to cover an extra 2 or 3 seconds longer in the play because, when the play breaks down, they're able to kind of escape and make some things happen. And having to chase these guys around as a linebacker, that it's not always the most fun, but like I said, like there's a lot of talent in this league, and so those guys are at the top, so.
Chase?
Making sure Larry didn't freeze there. We get to see AllPro Fred a lot on the field, but what's off-season Fred like? What do you like to do to fill your time?
And off-season Fred, all right, I like that one. It's not much. It's a lot of chill time. It's a lot of training. I'm a pretty routine guy, so I have the same type of routine every day of like what time I'm waking up and what I'm eating and times that I'm training, my recovery process and everything. I got away and traveled a little bit to Mexico for the first time with my lady, and just doing little fun things whenever I can, just to enjoy the off season. But just really dialed in right now to all steps of the process in terms of off season training and stuff like that.
You got any video games you like to play or shows you like to stream right now?
Yeah, I do hop on the sticks here and there. I play a little Call of Duty. I know that's a popular one, the little Warzone right now. So don't get on too often to get as good as I'd want, but it's, here and there.
Are you and your brother really competitive? Does he play with you?
Yeah, we're competitive. We play all the time.
I could imagine.
We'll text each other and we'll be like, all right, it's time. Like that's how like we hop on and we play and we're competitive in everything that we do. So, but it's fun.
Fred, what would you say was your welcome to the NFL moment? Like this, it kind of hit you like this is actually real now. Is there a moment for you that stands out?
This podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. Just now. This is when I felt it.
Yeah.
No, I feel like, man, what is there a moment? I will say there's one moment that stuck out. My rookie year, I got hurt in training camp. I ended up having this little nick in my sternum during practice, and so I couldn't play that first preseason game against Dallas. But growing up, I was a Dallas Cowboys fan. I know it's terrible to say now, right? But growing up, I was a fan, and we're playing Dallas that first game, so I was bummed I couldn't play in that game. But I'm on the sideline in my shirt and shorts, and I see Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott and all these captains, Sean Lee, go out for the coin toss, and I'm like, dang, those are those are those guys, and they're walking out right now. Like we're all in the same field. It's kind of crazy, So I was kind of starstruck in that moment, but I soon had to figure out like, man, it doesn't matter. Like you're here now. Like you got to perform and play against those type of guys, and I feel like it just, it was all just a little it's all process, and it all kind of fell how it needed to.
One more quick one. In Miami, we obviously were covering you guys. You guys are focused on the biggest game of your life. But for us, one of the cool things we got to go to a media thing where Snoop Dogg performed. I know The Rock was around you guys. Was there anybody that you had a chance that kind of maybe starstruck you? What was that story like with The Rock? And I know it was all business that week, but there were some odd things that happened that week, right?
No, yeah, that was pretty cool. I know it was for sure dope for George because he's big Rock fan and WrestleMania and all that stuff. And when I saw him, I was kind of like, whoa, like you're The Rock, like that's kind of crazy, because people think that we're just these NFL players, we don't have emotions, and we just these superstars, and like no, like we're regular people too. And I watched The Rock growing up on all these movies, and so when I saw him in person, I'm like, oh, you're The Rock, like and but it's all cool, like it's fun, and that whole Super Bowl week was dope. Even though it's high tension, high stress, but it's just it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of guys, and it was fun to take it in and meet people like that.
Yeah, he's training for a new movie role, Black Adam. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram. He is gigantic at this point. I don't know if you.
I don't follow him or anything, but he's a workout fiend, I think, and he takes it serious. So I'm not surprised.
All right. Well, you at BYU were an exercise and wellness major. So help us out here, because you can't really tell from the Zoom boxes, but when we're in the office, we are workout warriors between shows.
Are you? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
So give me your favorite core exercise. What can we do if we want to be like Fred?
You want to be like Fred? Well, putting me on the spot, but I do like the little ab wheel roller.
We got one of those.
There you go. You grab one of those. You get on the ground. You start ab wheeling, rolling it up and down. Now you'll get that 8-pack in no time. You gotta watch what you eat though too. You can't just be out here doing the ab rolls and then eat cheeseburgers.
I do the ab rolls so I can eat the cheeseburgers.
Okay. Okay. Then you get it. You even it out a little bit, but we going for the 8-pack. So that's why you gotta cheeseburgers out.
How long do you think it will take from, let's say, we get the ab roller, like an hour, or how long before we really see it just bust out?
Yeah, I give it an hour 24 minutes. Hour and 24, that's usually around the time where you start to see little results.
Okay.
Based on my exercise and wellness expertise, I think that's what I learned in school. I think that's the exact number. So
1 hour, 24 minutes. All right. When we synchronize our watches when we get back in there, for sure. Hopefully we do get back in there soon, and we'll actually be able to do this. In person at some point. That maybe you don't want that. I don't know. You're probably like, I'm good on Zoom with these dudes. I'm fine. Yeah. No need to see them in person.
No, the Zoom's nice. Look at you. You're probably in your house right now. You're relaxed. You're comfortable. Once you get off the meeting, you just get to flip back in your pajamas and watch a show probably. And, it's a good deal, right? This ain't bad. I don't mind it.
Fred, I'm going straight to the ab wheel right after this. There's no pajamas involved.
Oh, I see. I thought you were going to do the ab wheel in the pajamas, but that's cool too. Don't want some workout clothes.
You're the expert. I will do what you're coaching us up. I'm just trying to get some tips. You tell me do them in pajamas, I'm in the pajamas. Whatever.
Do it in the pajamas and videotape yourself, post it on social media, and then we'll give it a go. All right.
That sounds.
Tag me also.
Yeah, I will tag
Larry.
you. We should do that. You know how many clicks we would get on that? People would think, wow, what is wrong with this dude?
I'm sure you get a lot of clicks.
Oh, see, now Chris has got
the cardboard cutout.
My cutout there. You can't see the abs right there. They didn't do me justice on. They cut me off. They were worried. Anyway.
Yeah.
Fred, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time. Really bummed you didn't go to Hawaii, but I think it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
It worked out pretty good. So we can't wait to see you and the 49ers next season, and hoping everybody stays healthy, and maybe another trip back to the Super Bowl. It'd be really, really cool.
Yes, sir. That's the goal.
All right, Fred. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
With authority.